Hello, hello. Welcome to Ghost Tracks podcast, where monsters are always watching. We're your hosts, Tina, and I have my official co-host with me today, Molly. Say hi, Molly.
Hi, Molly.
And today we're heading deep into the steamy, spooky swamps of Louisiana, where Molly is at currently, living in a whole ass swamp, to meet a creature that's part man, part wolf, and part guilt trip, so he must be Catholic. The Rougarou.
The Rougarou. Now, if you've ever skipped Lent, lied to your grandma, or snuck the last piece of king cake, you might already be on the Rougarou's watch list. This Cajun cryptid has one mission: to punish sinners, preferably with teeth.
Okay,
But
so
let's
like, is
what?
he punishing people with teeth, or is he punishing people like with teeth? Crunch.
I think he wants to punish them with his own teeth. Wants
Crunching.
to floss his bones. Or floss his teeth with your bones.
His mouth bones
His
with
mouth
your bones.
hmm Exactly. But let's rewind this horror reel. Back in medieval France, yes, that place with castles, baguettes, and way too many plagues, there was a legend about the loup-garou, the original werewolf. The church used it as an ultimate threat. Miss Lent, and boom, instant werewolf. Skip your fish Fridays and suddenly you're howling at the moon with hunger for redemption and probably a raw steak. But fast forward a few centuries and the French Acadians get kicked out of France. Rude. And take a long, weird boat trip and end up in Nova Scotia and later Louisiana to bring their gumbo recipes, their accordions, and guess what? Their spooky bedtime stories. Only in Louisiana, things got weird. The
As
humidity
it
hit.
does.
Yeah. Well, the humidity hits different. The mosquitoes are as big as birds, and the legend got a spicy remix. Enter the Rougarou.
Dun dun dun.
The Rougarou is like the Goop Guru.
Why are they gonna make it so hard? What are
I
these names? Just call him Bigfoot. The swamp Bigfoot. I mean, my goodness. Drinks were not included with this episode tonight.
No, but I'm sure if I had a drink, I'd get through the sentence. Okay, the Rougarou is like the loup-garou's rowdy cousin who moved to the bayou and started lifting weights. He's half man, half beast, and 100% committed to ruining your night if you've been naughty. Skip Lent? Are you a liar? Sneak out past curfew? The Rougarou's coming for you. With glowing red eyes and breath that smells like a week-old jambalaya.
It's disgusting.
Some folks say he prowls the swamps of Louisiana and even the forests of Nova Scotia, just vibing and waiting for someone to mess up. Others say he can shapeshift. So maybe that raccoon you saw last night wasn't a raccoon at all. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was Jeff. He skipped Lent and now he lives behind the Waffle House. The
Sounds
Rougarou.
like somebody in Louisiana.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Yep. The Rougarou is tall, hairy, and mad as hell. You break the rules, he hunts you down. Especially if you skipped Lent. Forget this. 7 years in a row. Apparently God's patience expires in week 364 of year 7. Oh, and there's a fun catch. If you look the Rougarou in the eye, you turn into one too. It's like a werewolf MLM. Get cursed, curse others, repeat.
So do we just
So
gotta be like gouging each other's eyes out so we don't, turn into one of these things?
yeah, like I'm just thinking too, like what if you just close your eyes?
This is like a whole ass Bird Box episode. Did you ever watch Bird Box?
Oh my God,
That
yes,
movie
I've watched it over and
stressed
over and over
me
again.
out.
Yes, it stresses me out.
I had to stop it in the middle of the fucking movie, and I had to like take an intermission before I could finish watching it. My anxiety was so high.
Yeah.
And it's like that every time. And I don't understand because it's not like I don't understand why, because it did that to so many people. And I don't understand exactly the psychology behind why it freaked so many people out. Because it wasn't, like, super gory or anything.
Hmm.
Like, maybe it's just, because we rely so
It's
heavily on our
suspenseful.
senses
Yeah.
and the fear of not being able to do that, probably. I think that might be why. Listen to me, all psychology, like,
You're so smart.
won't go that far. This little brain of mine, she works only part-time.
Hey, So next time you're thinking about breaking your New Year's resolution in June or telling your mom you did your homework, remember, the Rougarou might be listening, and he is just waiting to hand you your complimentary fur coat and howl of the month.
We should make a fucking monthly box.
Um,
Called that the Howl of the Month.
Howl of the month. I
A
love that.
subscription box, guys,
Yes, I like
with,
that.
like, cool merch. We're working on merch for all 3 of you that listen, by the way.
Well, your shirt looks really cool. What's on your shirt?
And my shirt, oh, it's what I live my life by. You don't have to die to be
Yeah.
dead to me.
Ah, mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll take one in 3 different colors.
Well, I made it, so I could do that.
You made it.
I did. Yes, I have a little side gig, another one of the 80, Wicked Stitches. It is a sublimation crafting company that I have myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
make shirts and tumblers and all kinds of fun stuff. So, I have a vending event
Very
this
cute.
weekend, actually, that I'll be at selling my shit.
Do you have the tumbler that we made for the podcast?
I have it downstairs. I can go grab it.
Yeah, go grab it. Go
Please
grab it.
hold.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, let's
And I
see it.
have the tumbler. This is an original Molly design with the menial input by Tina. Doo, doo, doo. This is one of our super cute new tumblers.
Creeping it real.
Ghost Tracks Podcast. I have a vending event where I will be there with the podcast in, when is that? August? No, September. It's in September.
Mm-hmm.
It's the day before I leave for my grand adventure to Alaska to drive Miss Minnow down. And so, yeah, I'll be there selling merch and meeting new people and promoting our podcast so that we'll have 5 listeners instead of 3.
Yes. All right. You want to hear the wild part
Yeah, I'm
of this
always
whole
down for the
Rougarou
wild
thing?
part. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the wild part. The 101-day rule. It's not enough that you have to, like, scratch someone. No. One version of the legend says that if you are cursed and become a Rougarou, you stay in beast mode for 101 days. Do you think you could do it that long?
Probably.
If
I
you're
do like
cursed,
beast mode 365 days minus the fur,
oh
so
yeah,
I
this is
feel
nothing.
like I could be in a fur well, I don't know. I get hot really easily. Maybe if I was up in, like, the mountains, not in Louisiana. I wouldn't survive in Louisiana with a fur coat.
You don't want to be furry?
Fuck no. No. That's a winter thing, and that's only because I don't shave my legs.
Girl, same. Same. I don't shave my legs unless
I
I'm
shaved
going
before it
outside with
got
shorts
warm.
on.
I shaved before it got really warm this year, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so cold."
Mm.
I took off my fur coat.
But you want to know what happens within those 101 days?
Yeah.
If you're cursed and turn into Rougarou, you've got
Mhm.
101 days to pass the curse on. How, you ask? Simple. You gotta bite
I
someone.
was gonna say a crunch crunch time.
Yeah. Not, you don't want to eat them. Just to, get a little bit of taste of their blood.
So he's like part vampire then too.
Well, vampires are so last century, you want to save some of that blood for the other cryptid bros. Just enough to draw a little blood, like a supernatural paper cut. If you do,
Stop, Edward, you're killing her.
well, if you do it, congratulations. You're human again. If not, you're stuck being a furry forever. Hope you
Mm,
like shedding.
I shed all
Oh,
day.
and there's a version of the curse that lasts your entire life. So if you're hoping it wears off like a hangover, Good luck.
This
Hmm.
was written, like, this came from Catholics, because there's,
Mhm.
like, so many levels of guilt and
Yep.
punishment in this. You just know the
Mhm.
Catholics were like,
Oh, yeah. They like to scare you into
"Hell yeah, they do.
submission.
Eternal damnation in a fur coat, that's what you got coming for you."
So I did find a few stories on Reddit of others' experiences. This is a personal encounter story that I found on the subreddit account Cryptids. No name was attached to it because the OP had since deleted their account. But they did mention if any YouTubers or podcasts want to share their story, it's okay, as long as they read it word for word, which I'm going to attempt to read it word for word. But let's see.
And
My
if you're listening, heyo.
Yeah, heyo, whoever you are, to whom it may
Heyo.
concern, hope you're okay. My encounter with a Rougarou, aka Louisiana werewolf. This was written 4 years ago. So this happened to me a few years ago. I was visiting a friend's house in the Houston River area. That section of the river is pretty swampy, so we were frog hunting at night. It was a full moon, so it made spotting the bullfrogs easier. Super tasty, by the way. Yeah, I heard that they taste like chicken.
They
Would you
do,
try one?
actually. I have. So when I went to Florida 2 years ago, I was visiting my husband down there while he was working, and that was the first time I had gator and frog, and they were delicious. They were
Oh my
really good.
god. Okay, so I've tried gator, but I can't bring myself to try the frogs. I just can't do it.
They're good. They are
Some
good.
part of me thinks they're gonna be like slimy.
Nope, not even a little bit. It's so good. So actually, when Minna was here visiting, we went to Cletus and Cars. They actually first time I've ever seen this, they had um like bayou food. It was like boils, and they had frog and gator, and it was Cajun and like the whole 9 yards. I was like,
Did
what
they
the
have
fuck?
crawfish?
They did. It was a crawfish boil, and then they had the
Mmm.
sides with the gator, and they had frog. So we literally had a whole fucking pan. It was crawfish and the corn and the potatoes, which your
Oh.
girl loves potatoes.
Well, I might give it a little nibble.
And they had the frogs, also, and I don't think she'd ever tried gator or frog, so she did, and it was really good.
Hmm.
But here in Indy, I was like, "What the fuck?" I've
Oh
never
my
seen
god.
it was a food truck, and I've never seen that up here. So, they were very busy, and it was really good. So, anywho,
Anyhow, if I guess if you're from Indiana and you see that food truck and you like yourself some Southern Louisiana style food, hit 'em up.
get it.
So, anyway, we were wandering down the riverbank when we heard a sound. All went quiet, not even the crickets chirped. We heard dozens of frogs dive into the water. We knew that something was very wrong. Then came a distant growl, like something evil, from the other side of the river. We killed our Q beams, aka our spotlight, and watched in direction of the sound. What I saw chilled me to the bone. It was like a massive wolf with patchy black fur, yet no visible skin on its head, and only skull with empty eyes. It appeared to be locked into
Just
onto
has
their
alopecia. God, you're so
yeah,
rude.
you know, it happens to
Male
the best of
pattern
us.
baldness.
It appeared to be locked onto other prey, so we shut our lights off and watched for a moment. Looking back, it was really stupid to not flee right then. It ran back into the woods and started running down, and we started running down the river. We decided to dip out and get out as fast as possible. I think I would too. I don't know.
Mhm.
I think I would maybe be frozen in curiosity.
I would, do you know, my normal and just shit my pants.
Yeah. Well, part of me would want to freeze because what if it would be like, the T-Rex dinosaur that a movement attracts it?
That's not a T-Rex. It's a
Yeah.
velociraptor.
No, the velociraptors, it doesn't matter if you're moving. It's a big old T-Rex.
You might be right. It's been a minute since I watched Jurassic Park. And what do we actually know anyway?
Girl,
They were
I'm
out, like,
obsessed.
millions
I
of
know.
years ago.
They could, I think they used to have feathers.
I
So,
think a lot of people think that right now, and they might.
yeah.
I mean
Well,
I mean, we
when you
find
compare their
bones.
bones to how ostriches looked, like ostrich bones or whatever,
Mhm.
very similar to a dinosaur. So they
Well,
could have been just like
chickens do
giant
come from dinosaurs.
asshole ostriches.
Well, now we own tiny, giant, tiny little asshole
I know.
dinosaurs.
Mine
They
are
are
really sweet though.
our
So,
chickens aren't mean. They're
no.
just some of them have attitudes, some of them
Hmm.
don't. Just depends on the day.
We're naming ours after Friends characters.
I think Minna wanted to name the other 3 the runner ducks that we have, she wanted to name them after Friends characters, I think.
Yep.
But nothing has officially been named currently.
Yeah, one of our ducks is definitely going to be a Gunther, though.
A Gunther
Mm-hmm. I
from the
gotta take
coffee
a drink
shop.
of it. Mm-hmm. Because we have 9 chickens and 4 ducks, so there's plenty of names to go around.
Right.
There's going to be a Regina Phalange,
I have a
a
lot of
Princess Banana
chickens.
Hammock.
That's hilarious. And let me guess, Phoebe had all of those names.
Yep.
I was not, like, a super duper Friends watcher, so I don't actually know, like, the ins and outs of the show,
Hmm.
but there are obviously some that are just dead giveaways.
Yeah. It's my comfort show. All right, so this is a story that I found on the subreddit page, Darkness Prevails. The OP has since deleted their account, just like the last one. Maybe they just get scared. I found this one interesting because it happened in Texas, which is, you know, it's nearby.
Too
And they
close for
reversed
me.
it. Yeah, it's nearby to us, so it
My
must be like a
condolences.
maybe the Rougarou just kind of stays in the south, although, Nova Scotia just skips like the whole middle part of the US.
Apparently, and then just hops the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, Nova Scotia why do I always think that's over, like, in Europe? It's up north, Canada.
Canada.
Yeah. I always forget
Yeah.
that.
Right.
History was
You
not
got Maine and then it
Mhm.
goes up here, Nova Scotia.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
mean, I can't find my way out of a paper bag, but I do know where some places are. Like, seriously, I am geographically challenged sometimes. So, anyway, I found this one interesting because it happened in Texas, and they refer to it as the Lougarou. This was written 6 years ago. It's called My Great Grandmother's Encounter with the Loup-Garou in East Texas. My great grandmother always used to tell a story about a werewolf like creature called the Loup-Garou. At some point in her life, according to the version my grandpa used to tell me, my mom lived along the Sabine River and had some friends over one night for supper. My great grandmother lived in a house in the woods, a short distance from town, and everyone was ready to start heading back. It was past dusk, not too late, and the guests were starting to say their goodbyes when a howling, wailing howl shattered through the stillness of the woods. Everyone inside the house just froze, and one of the women uttered that it was the Loop Guru. They started shutting the windows and locking the doors because it was believed that the creature couldn't get inside a locked house.
See?
Uh,
Vampire.
yeah, maybe it has to be invited.
Invited in. Hello, Vampire
Ooh.
Diaries. I would invite Damon Salvatore in. I'm just gonna throw that right out there without a second hesitation.
If a man, like, you didn't know who it was and he just showed up looking like that, you'd just be like,
Yep.
"Hi, come
Yep.
in.
But come on in,
What can
honey.
I do for you?" So
Push your
after a
feet
short
up.
Oh my God.
Look, I think loads of ladies would totally, and even some men would totally agree. If
I
Damon
know the
Salvatore
yeah.
rolled up, they'd be like, okay.
Hello. After a short time and all the house was locked down, my great grandmother and her guests gathered in the front parlor and hid in the shadows. From the woods again rose a piercing howl, and the sounds were much closer now. As they all huddled in silence in the parlor, a heavy form stepped onto the porch, and the weight of its massive body straining the wooden planks. It walked past the door, jiggling its locked knob, and its heavy what?
They could have wrote that in any other way.
I know.
Started jiggling its locked knob.
I know. I'm like, well, you start laughing. I'm
Oh,
like,
and then it's heavy breathing.
I was worried I read
Like,
that wrong because in my head I heard it differently. Okay. It walked past the door, jiggling its locked knob, and its heavy breath fogged up the window panes as the beast stepped into the bright beams of the moonlight. It looked inside,
and then it said, "Hey, ladies, what you doing in there?"
but all the people just remained entirely motionless, their breaths held tightly in their lungs. The creature let out a mighty howl, one that my grandpa still said that still makes my great grandmother tremble after years afterwards. And the beast, left and vanished into the woods. The dinner party had been so frightened that they just ended up staying the night. In the morning, there were giant footprints in the mud around my great grandmother's house, long claws sticking out from each of the toes. Her being single at the time, my great grandmother didn't stay in that house for much longer. She moved into town and from there into Houston area. Well, that's the story I hear from my grandpa, anyways. No idea if it's true, but that's the luster of folklore. And then this is a story from the subreddit Backwoods Creepy, which I'm kind of tempted to follow myself because that sounds interesting. Was written 4 years ago by the Reddit account Madame Corleone 420.
Hey,
It's
420.
yeah, I know that's why I was like, hey girl.
We
And
see you.
we see you. And takes place in southern Louisiana. This is a 2-for-1 deal because she shared 2 stories. The Rougarou knocked back. I have 2. This is my one is my own personal story, the other is my stepdad's. Also, I'm not the best storyteller, so I apologize in advance. Both happened in South Louisiana down the bayou in the woods. My story. It gets very hot down here in the summer, so to cool off, many of the residents in my town like to enjoy a boat ride down the river, swimming, fishing, tubing at various sandbars. My favorite sandbar was about a 7 to 10 minute boat ride with maybe 30 feet of sand between the river and the woods/swamp. My sister, my mom, and my stepdad and myself loaded up my boat and cruised to the sandbar for a late afternoon catfishing trip. It's usually a slap full of boats and people, but it was just us. As the sun was going down, my stepdad is telling his bayou stories and claims that he can summon the Rougarou.
It always starts like that. These
Look what I
men.
can do.
These men.
Just hold my beer. Out of curiosity, my sister and I give him the go-ahead. We were both in our 20s, by the way. He takes a piece of driftwood in each hand and knocks them together twice, making loud echoing noises. A few seconds go by, maybe 100 feet into the woods, something knocked back. We noped out of there real quick. I don't think I've ever loaded the boat so quickly before. Never tried to knock for the Rougarou again either. I'm not
So,
sure I would either.
see, it is basically a southern Bigfoot. Because that's how you call Bigfoot, is you knock wood together. It's literally
Really?
called wood knocking. Yeah, you knock wood together and you make those like howling/grunting/echoey sounds.
Huh.
Yup. Yup.
Interesting.
So we have the Rougarou in the south, we've got the Yeti in the north, and then we have Bigfoot in the PNW.
Well, maybe Rougarou is like a mix.
I'm just saying.
Maybe
Big and
maybe the
hairy.
French from Nova Scotia picked up a couple, things that they heard about the Bigfoot and added it to their story.
Well, it'd be the Yeti up there, because in that area, being all snowy and stuff,
Mm,
they just wanted to stay relevant for the South, I think.
I think so too. I don't know. There's a lot of creepy things I have never even heard about. Like I just heard about this Rougarou last year, which
Yeah, I've never heard of
ew,
it, but I've only been to Louisiana the one time. Visiting you.
no. All right, let's hear her stepdad story. This is stepdad's story. So, maybe 10 years ago, he was night fishing and set out some jug lines with one of his buddies. While they waited in the dark for the fish to start nibbling on their bait, they start telling their bayou stories. The particular bayou that they stopped to wait in wasn't wide at all, maybe 25 feet with woods and slash swamp on either side. So stepdad tells his buddy that if he hollers for the Rougarou will holler back.
What is it with
What
this
is it?
dad?
What is it about like
This stepdad just trying to get eaten. He just
mm-hmm.
out there in the woods, clapping wood, yelling around. My
I
God.
I
No
think
survival instincts, this guy.
I think he has a Rougarou fetish.
He might. He
He
really
wants
likes
that
that.
Rougarou. He wants that little
He likes
furry
them
Rougarou.
hairy.
He does. He's like cat calling him, "Come on, baby.
Let me
Something
slap my
for
wood
you."
at you.
Now he's hollering like, "Holla back, baby, holla back." Oh my
Talk
god.
to me. I'll talk back.
Well, this stepdad let out a loud roar.
Grr.
Roar. Roar. As soon as he finished his call, maybe 10 feet into the woods, the loudest roar came right back to him. He and his buddy left the bayou so quick.
I don't think
They,
he did. I think he stayed. Let's be
you
real.
think so?
This
I think
this dad 2 times? Like, he
I.
isn't gonna like, he doesn't know what's coming.
What if he wanted him for himself, and so he's like, "Hey, hey, let me go drop you off real quick."
"We're gonna run away real quick. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, sugar."
They came back to camp and didn't retrieve their jug lines until the following morning. Because the proximity of the call, the loudness, and the sheer spook factor, Stepdad refuses to go down that particular bayou. I don't believe
I
it.
call bullshit.
I don't believe
Bullshit,
it.
bullshit, bullshit.
Because it's bullshit.
Because he did it twice. And
Yeah.
let's see, okay, so that one happened 10 years ago, and then the other one happened, what'd they say, 6?
Okay,
7?
let me see. They were 20. They
She
were in
doesn't
their
specify
20s.
when that one did. Either way,
Yeah.
one happened after the other. Okay, so he
Mhm.
did it twice. He ain't that scared.
Yep. Maybe he liked it so much the first
He
time
really
that he
did.
was like, he's like, again,
He really did.
again, we're just
Mm,
kidding. Okay, so,
I'm not.
um, she's gonna be angry. Did you call my dad a furry lover?
If it walks like a duck and sounds like a duck.
Alrighty. So, doing all of this research actually kind of jogged my memory a little bit. I remember when we first moved into this house about 3 years ago. My son was about 10 years old, and he was walking in the kitchen and he stopped and he was like, "Mom." He's like, there was just a large wolf creature out there. And I'm like, really? And he said that it was like he only saw the shoulders. And so that had to be pretty big because if he only saw the shoulders and he said it was gray and furry. And I
So it
didn't
was
know,
old.
yeah.
It was an
So
old
that was my,
Rougarou.
yeah. So doing this research actually kind of made me think that maybe he saw the Rougarou out here. But if he only saw,
Non-Rougarou
yeah, so if he,
related. But did I ever tell you about the time when I lived in Alaska? We lived in Big Lake at the time, and our house was, like, kinda low, and then it sloped up in the backyard. So we were basically on a hill, kind of, and the backyard was up above, um, like, our kitchen area. So I'm sitting there, and the sun was setting in the backyard, so a lot of light was coming in, and I'm sitting there. I think I was making food, for the kids. I'm not really sure what I was doing anymore, but all of a sudden, the sun just goes away. Just got really dark. I was like,
Enter creepy music.
"What the fuck is that?" And I turn around and there's a fucking moose by my back window standing there, and it was so big, and because of, again, our backyard was higher than the windows were than the house was, but it was so big, it blocked out the sun, and I was like, "Ah, what the fuck is this?" But yeah, it was a giant moose, and it blocked out the sun, and it scared the shit out of me. So,
Oh my
Alaska!
god. That's I don't know what I would do.
I
That's
got chased by a moose once up there.
they can be pretty aren't they aggressive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she,
Or are they territorial?
it's
Is it just
territorial, it's
okay.
and protective. So this one, I was backing out of my driveway, this was a different house, we lived in Wasilla, and, our driveway was not, like, super duper long, but is longer, and so I was backing out, and then I get into our roundabout or cul-de-sac, I mean, and I get down to the end, and I see everybody else's trash cans, and I was like, "Ah, crap, I forgot my trash can." It was trash day. So I was like, I'm just gonna get out of my car, and I'll walk up the driveway and grab the trash can, pull it down." So, leave my car door open, it's running and everything, I'm walking, and all of a sudden, like, I hear a sound, so I look over to my left, and there's a fucking baby moose in the brush, and I was like, "Oh god." And so I just start running because
Mm.
here comes mama fucking booking it after me. So I run and I get up on my porch and I bust through my front door, and my mom's in the living room and she's like, "Weren't you leaving for work?" I was like, "Well, I was." But funny story. And then the moose was like in our door. So our door had the glass pane, big oval one
Mhm.
in there, and she's up there on my porch. And I was like, "Well, I'm not going anywhere right now." She's like, "What in the hell happened?" So I had to wait out the moose. I had to call in late to
Moose
work.
happened.
Yeah, I had to call in late to work because I couldn't get back to my car because Mama Moose was trying to get me. So
Have they ever
yeah.
broken into houses?
No,
Or
but
I've
bears
seen
do.
okay, oh my god, yeah, I've seen that. I've also seen
Mhm.
how like they call them moose or meese?
Moose.
Moose.
It's not meese, guys. The multiple of moose is still moose.
I don't know, just one of those words that fuck with
Yeah.
me. I've seen them mess up cars pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, if you hit them, you're gonna have a real bad day
No,
if you hit a
yeah, I
moose.
seen some how do you say that?
CCTV.
CCTV
Mhm.
of this dude running to his truck and the moose just started
Oh, chasing him and was like kicking
like
the shit out
chasing,
of him.
then like yeah, got up on his hind legs and was like
Mhm. Yeah,
rocking
there
my
was
car.
one that was, I think it was in Anchorage. There's a video that got really offended at a mailbox. Beat the hell out of that mailbox. Like,
I think
fuck
I seen
this
that.
mailbox.
Mhm.
No, I've never had any of them damage my car or anything. It just the one just chased me that one time, and I was like, "Ah,
Hmm.
almost died." There was one that chased our dog once, because it was too close to the house, and she charged it. It was Sadie, our chocolate lab, and I, like, flipped out. She was barking at it, and it spooked it, so it was up against the house. I couldn't go anywhere, and then when I yelled at her to get out of there, and she turned and wasn't paying attention to the moose anymore, the moose reared up, and then she hauled ass
Mm.
back to the porch and was coming in, and the
Oh
moose
hell
chased her.
no.
Yeah, and then the moose put its 2 front hooves up on the porch, and then Sadie was like, not in my house," and then tried to charge it again. I was like, "Get in the damn house!"
Oh my god.
So,
So, have you ever heard anything creepy in the woods before? Like being out there?
um, honestly, probably just normal woods sounds, but because you're in the woods and you can't see because it's night,
Hmm.
I think it's just scary because it's the unknown. Um, but
I
no,
be hearing some weird ass sounds at night.
mm-mm. Honestly, so I love, like, I love going I love the mountains. Like, I don't know that I've really mentioned that on the podcast before, but I love the mountains. I'm not a beach girl. I hate it. Like, I fucking hate the beach. Take me to the mountains and drop me out there in the woods, and I'll be fine. Um, Tennessee, I love going to Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. Blue Ridge Mountains are
Hmm.
gorgeous. Appalachian Mountains scare the fuck out of me. I will camp. I love camping, but I don't know that I could
Nope.
camp in the
Nope.
Appalachian Mountains. And
You
the
won't catch
people
me
that
over
do,
there.
like yeah, the people that do what is it? The Appalachian Trail, like the walking trail, it
Yeah,
goes from I think it starts in northern Florida maybe or Georgia, and it goes all the way up to Maine.
'cause they hear oh my god, the
But
videos that
they
I
just
watch.
walk. They walk the whole time and up through the Appalachian Mountains, and they're camping out there in little, like, huts and mm-mm. Nope,
Mm-mm.
nope. Appalachia scares me.
I
Like,
have I
they
have
are some brave
some
people that live out there.
mhm. There's
But
some crazy things that I mean, I gotta say of all the places that I've lived, Louisiana, I see you. I see you.
yeah.
'Cause it's been, like, activity after activity no matter where we go. If I'm outside
Mhm.
we had somebody stay with us for a couple weeks, and he was just staying in the living room, and he goes to my husband, he goes, "Dude, you know that your house is haunted, right?" And he goes, "Don't get me started on outside." He goes and I looked at my husband, I was like, "See?"
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just lots of things happen here. It's just always exciting in a creepy, scary kind of way. Everything wants to eat you here.
Same with
So,
Alaska.
what
We're
kind of
getting
question?
back on track, guys. Back
Yeah.
to the Rougarou. Enough with Alaska and Appalachia.
Yeah, that'll have to be a whole other story.
Oh, we'll
That's
definitely
something I think
Appalachia is on my list.
mhm. I think that we could talk about that for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah. The stories that come out of there, there's so many. But anyway.
Yeah. So in the end, it's basically a spooky pyramid scheme. Become cursed, pass it on, regret everything. If Jeff from Baton Rouge gets bit and turns into a Rougarou, he's got to go bite Cheryl in Shreveport so that he can go back to working in AutoZone. And Cheryl, she better find a new victim before day 101, or she's spending eternity howling at squirrels.
Do you think they, like, make little notches in the wood, counting their days?
It's
Like, do
possible.
you think that they can count? How are they gonna know it's
Actually,
101 days?
actually, I think I read that the Rougarou can't count past 13 or 12. I think it's 12.
Oddly specific.
They can't, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the Rougarou that I was reading about. They can't count past 12. And then if you put 13 stones on your porch, you can protect your
Kinda
house
just
from
like
them.
they sit there and keep trying to
Yep.
count.
They keep going.
That's actually out of another legend.
Really? Which one?
I don't remember, but it is. I know that, but I don't remember what one. She's gonna reference the Google.
Yeah, Rougarou
No,
can't
let's
count.
see. Cryptid that can't count. We're gonna do that.
Oh, yeah, I can't count past 12. And that's one way to protect your house is to place 13 small objects, like pennies, rocks, and things by your doors and windows. The Rougarou is unable to count past 12, and they will be trapped trying to count all the items. So how do they know when day 100 is coming if they can't
Great.
count past 12? Like is it like their biological clock starts counting down and they're like, "Oh, I'm feeling really animalistic today. I'm not
Is
feeling
it
human at
like,
all."
well, okay, so like Brave, the movie Brave? Have you ever watched that with
Yeah, where
Merra?
they were bears.
Yeah, where she turned into the bear, and then, like, as the days go on, she becomes more bear-like and less like her human self, like,
Yeah,
yes, wonder if
that's
it's
what I
like
was
that.
thinking. I don't know, maybe they didn't put too much thought into some of the, like
I don't know.
it's just like the
Who writes
boogeyman
these
freaking
stories?
right?
So is the Rougarou real, or is it just occasion campfire story? Cautionary tale, if you will.
I think it's, I don't know. I mean, I would say it's not real, but then, like, I trust my son what he sees, so
Yeah.
but he didn't turn into one. But if all he saw was his shoulders, because he said that he saw the hunched over, so I
Wasn't
don't
there
know.
looking in his eyes.
It was really hard to finding personal stories.
It's
I
because 'cause
couldn't
they're all
find a whole lot.
Rougarous.
Oh.
Not everybody went and got
Oh, they
n
leave
mhm.
no crumbs?
Well, that 101 days far surpassed, and you can't write your stories if you're still a beast in the woods. Just saying.
Mm,
That can't pass. count past 12.
That's true. They're all still counting. Oh my God. Well, whether it's supernatural punishment, swampy boogeyman, or just what happens when you eat bad boudin after midnight, one thing's for sure, if you hear heavy breathing behind you in the bayou, run. Or at least turn around and say, Jeff, is that you?
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Well, everybody, that is all for tonight's tale on Ghost Tracks Podcast. Remember to observe Lent, because that's bad if you don't, apparently. Don't skip Leg Day or Leg of Lamb Day, and keep your eyes on the dark corners. But hey, before you panic, remember, these are all just folklore tales, not actual werewolf science. There's no official CDC page of a Rougarou yet. We're going to make one. Stay tuned. And nobody's been turned into one for real, probably, maybe. Because again, we
Probably,
don't
maybe.
know. They're not
We
out
don't
here
know.
writing
It's hard to
stories.
say. It's hard to say.
But next time you skip Lent, lie about flossing, or wander too far into the Louisiana swamps, keep your eyes open. That glowing red stare in the bushes might not be a raccoon, might be Jeff.
Name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff. You're never going to know when a Ruger is just 100 days from freedom and looking at you, bro. So you guys can follow us on our socials. We got some really funny TikTok videos up and more to come. We're on the Instagram and the Facebook. If you have stories of Rougarous and other beastly wooded creatures, you can send those in at ghosttrackspodcast@gmail.com. You can write it to me. You can write it to Molly because she's here full time now. Hey, y'all.
Heyo.
But yeah, I think that's it. Other than stay creepy.
Stay
Bye.
creepy.